Thank you, Major General Narpat Singh Rajpurohit, sir, to join us in the session today. And I welcome you on behalf of ISHEL, which is the Indigenous Sport Horse Equestrian League, for the session. And the membership over here, as well as the larger membership, looks forward to hear from you and share knowledge and understanding about the sport of tent packing. To the audience, welcome everyone. We are graced on this session by Major General Narpat Singh Rajpurohit. He is now retired from the Indian Army, and he is the former chairman of the Asian Equestrian Federation for tent packing as well. In this session today, he will be sharing his knowledge on the sport of equestrian sport of tent pegging. We'll hear some history, the sport itself, the disciplines in the game, the equipments, the rules, brief overview of the rules, and where does India feature in this whole sporting scenario. So thank you everyone for joining. Before we go into the session, let me just give you a brief of what ISHEL is all about, our objectives. And sir, for you, this will be the first time that you are joining an ISHEL session, so it's important as well. Quickly, we are focused on the targeted development of indigenous horses of India in the equestrian sport, the modern day equestrian sport. We want to spread awareness of the indigenous sport horses of India nationally and globally. And you'll be happy to hear that in our membership, we also have members from overseas. We want to provide a platform for constructive discussion on various topics for these horses. We want to share training and knowledge sharing initiatives, we want to undertake. And the session that we are having now, the knowledge sharing session, is precisely for that purpose, because we do admire the fact that, before we do good for the horses or the horsemen who ride these horses, it's very important that the right knowledge exists. So that's important. And we want to participate in equestrian sporting events from time to time as well with these horses. Key commitments that we have is awareness, knowledge sharing, and knowledge building. So with that, the structure of the session would be quick. I'll take 5 minutes. I've already started in opening the session. You will have between 40-45 minutes to discuss with us. During that time, the audience may please be on mute. If you want to ask a question or a comment or anything, you can type it in the chat box. We'll be more than happy to take it at the right moment. You can raise hand as well. And when you're welcome to speak, then, you may speak. Please do not interrupt so that we have a very smooth session. And then we'll have the closing of the session and the feedback post session as well. This session will be lecture based. As I said, do not interrupt the speaker, ask questions in the chat box, mute when not talking. And obviously, all of us over here are grown-ups. Be courteous to everyone out here, especially the speaker. And so sir, over to you. I think with a brief introduction of yourself, so that the audience knows, I know
definitely.
the whole theory, but the audience have to understand and know.
Definitely, that's the purpose. If I want to listen to someone, I must know who is speaking. Very shortly and I will cover everything chronologically. I'm 14th August 64 born. I joined Sainik School Chittorgarh in 74. That's Chittorgarh, famous Maharana Pratap's place. I studied there for 7 years in CBSE, and we had horses. I had a riding. I'm from a place near Jodhpur, Pali Punaita. I knew basics of riding before I joined Sainik School. Sainik School had two, 3 horses. Developed my interest, and then in the first go, I cleared the UPSC exam of National Defence Academy, and I joined NDA in 81. And I was lucky that Pickle Sodhi, R.S. Sodhi, is a man, Arjunwadi type, and famous. He was my instructor, and he He launched me into the equestrian and tent pegging. And I was lucky that the Asian game gold medalist Rupi Brar is my first guru. He taught me the all the finances of the tent pegging in the Indian Military Academy. I joined the Army Service Corps where horses were there, the best tent pegging team ever. And after that, there was no looking back. I did other equestrian sport. I national medalist in the eventing. I won some national lesser level horses of the show jumping, and I played polo up to 2 handicap and played for the Army Service Corps and Army team also. But my love and my whole thing was tent pegging, and I started. I won my first national medal in 1989 at Jammu. It happened there, and same year there was a World Cup of tent pegging in Hyderabad with 15 countries. Uh, I got my medals there too, and then went for the World Equestrian Games Stockholm. Performed there the year. Then tent pegging was the FEI recognized sport, and Princess Anne personally was there, and we two Indian riders were then two Pakistanis were come. They didn't come. Then we took help of the Indian riders. We were there for 2 weeks and performed tent pegging to the Western world, and whole thing was showcased, and everything happened in the year 1990. Trained the British team in 1990. 1990, 1991, and 1992, the Indian team was invited. I was part of all 3 times, and we won the gold medal at USET, United States Equestrian Team at New Jersey, US. And things carry on, and won the international tent pegging at Dunlode. Then I happened to won the Asian game, the national games. And last was when I was a colonel, and my younger son, who is in the 61st Cavalry and a rider, who is more of a polo and eventing. When he started riding, I won my 2008-9. I won the national games of Guwahati, and then I became the national coach and the mentor of the tent pegging. And people do call me Bhishma Pitama of tent pegging because no one carried for so long. And so I'm in touch with Rupi Brar, and he says, you are the torchbearer. I love being part of tent pegging in any form. And of course, of the equestrian sport, I was meanwhile, I was also the secretary at the National Federation. I was executive committee for 10 years. Then I was elected unanimously in 2014 on the Asian Equestrian Federation chairman tent pegging there. Contributed there for 4 years, and I was coach of the Indian team when team was taken to 2010 into Oman. Then I was the coach of the Indian team for the World Cup of tent pegging in 2007 in South Africa, East London. Then I took the Indian junior team to South Africa, Johannesburg, and then I, of course, carried on my career, and also rose up to general and contributed in the army. And now I'm here. That's a brief so that you know who am I. And can we start a little bit of history?
Yeah, sir, what a wonderful chance for all of us to, as you know, as you said, the torch bearer of the sport, in India.
Yes.
It's really an honor for us. Yes, sir. We can delve into the history with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, but as far as the indigenous sport is concerned, I am part of the Marwadi Horse Society at Jodhpur. Now I'm settled at Jodhpur, and I am part and parcel, I must say, the advisor, what you call, for the Jodhpur Marwadi Indigenous Horse Show, which happens every first weekend in February, and also the polo, which happens in December. This basic sport, just to know in a short, is a war maneuver. Let's go back not even century. The last horse charge was made on 23rd of September 1918, when Haifa was liberated by the lances and swords on horseback. So as late as 1918 was the last horse cavalry charge made by President 61 Cavalry, and then that time Jodhpur Lancer. And before that, there are two versions of this. One version, who mastered this sport and who got this sport as a war maneuver and to train his army was Genghis Khan. And he used to uproot the tents of the enemy and do that. So he started this putting of the pegs and competition. Second one, which comes through, I had a long chat with General Pallit when he was here, and we went to the history and some books. In India, the wars were fought, even Haldigati, when Maharana Pratap was fighting. There was a line of elephants, then horses, and then the infantry. So elephants quite high, and it was very difficult for the soldier to fight with him. So they used to aim at the softest part, that is the nail, is the softest part. So the first what the Mewar and the Rajasthan did when the Mughals came on elephants, they sent their cavalry men and they used to pierce the nail of the elephant, and they used to go berserk, and there was a chaos, and they could get better of them. So these are the two versions of the origin. And then, of course, the first time ever it got introduced that the 1982 Asian Games were held in India. And that's the time General O.P. Malhotra, who is a pioneer of the Indian equestrian as well as tent pegging. And that's the time when it was a medal sport. And Colonel Rupi Brar, who is very much there in Punjab, and I keep meeting him, he won the gold medal, and to the Pakistani famous rider Malik got the silver, and it came into the competitive sport. 1986, it was a demonstration sport in the South Asian Games at the Korea, and then of course I told you 1990 for 1 year it was recognized sport. My Princess Anne, the equestrian FEI president, and we were there in Sweden, Stockholm. But sport was not couldn't take off as what I wished. And then Americans took over 1990, 91, and 92. They met me in the World Equestrian Games, and they suggested. And I just visited around 4 months back the same institution with my family now. Of course, my son rider and the whole family. I showed them 3 years with tent pegging, with ground and all. The Philadelphia they started off, but it couldn't take off that much. But now, when we were there in 2010 at the Muscat, Oman, and I'm thanks to the Gulf countries and especially the Oman, who took on this, and we had a long discussion on the equestrian farm and Indian tent pegging. The International Tent Pegging Federation was born, and FEI we were dealing earlier. So FEI wasn't that because the Europeans and other countries it was not so popular. Now there are 35 to 40 countries doing it. World Cup just happened around 2-3 weeks back. So that's the way tent pegging has emerged now. So that's, I think, enough for the history of the sport. This is a sport for the spectators. This is the sport because the speed is there. People like it, audience like it. You take any equestrian sport, most audience friendly is the spectator friendly is tent pegging because speed is involved. I think that's enough for the history part of it. Over to you.
Yes, sir. And I would say, a spectator sport from the other point as well, and I've seen more and more in India. And these army people, the charge cry that they have, different teams have different charge cries, that actually raises the
I
bar.
will give you a thought. Just sorry to disturb you.
Yeah.
The charge cry, I have done my research, and this is my version, and which any new people who are tent pegging, because when you start, you shout your cry, war cry or whatever you call, your breath comes out, and
Right.
you shout, your horse get indication, now I have to perform. So you both get fully pepped up.
Right.
That psyche thing of there's always psychological thinking going on in a competition, so that gets away. And when you shout and you hold your breath for a few seconds, because only distance is 7 seconds, your hand doesn't move with your breath because breath is out. So it's a scientifically proven better for you to. So I always use the war cry, and I used to pep up myself. My horse can leke jana. Any Indian rider today also you talk who was of my time, and they today also they are competing. Few of them, around 4-5 of them, and they know me leke jana sir. I used to shout leke jana, and I used to pick up the peg and hold the lance on top and say yeah. These are pepping me and my horse.
Yeah, I'm having goosebumps now. Okay. Yeah, sir. So yeah, I mean, tell us something about the current. You've spoken about the countries that are participating out there. It's governed by the International Tent Making Association. So I think we have covered the overview of the sport as well.
Yeah, I see on the
So
slide also ITPF written on your slide. So people know about, they can go and search what they are doing, the International Tent Pegging Federation.
right, yeah. So
Yeah.
the International Tent Pegging Federation, does it come under, or is it like associated to FEI, or is it completely
Yeah,
different?
when I was the chairman Asian Equestrian Tent Pegging, we had a meeting in Tehran, and the ITPF people came there, and they have signed a MOU with the FEI. FEI told you, we are recognizing you as a body to promote this sport, and when it becomes popular in the world, then you come back to us.
So what's the current
They
status?
have
Have
a
you gone
MOU.
back to them?
They have a MOU with the FEI, Federation
Okay.
Equestrian.
Okay.
That's what was told to me by the president of the ITPF.
Okay. Now that's good to hear about the recognition of the sport as well. I'm sure it's like definitely it's a spectator sport. You don't need the whole feel to it. It's one putty, and there's a lot of people can see from the start to finish the horse, the charge, the distance, the gallop, everything. It really peps up. So, sir, we just want to get to know about the different disciplines, the various disciplines that are, as subdivided into this whole umbrella sport. For your interest, that's me on my horse doing tent pegging at my stables in Rajasthan. So I think you'll be happy, you'll be glad that I'm into it as well.
I know that. I know that.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, so let us know about the disciplines that are involved.
When the sport started in the Asian Games 1982 and followed in Korea, Seoul 1986, and of course till the World Equestrian Games in 1990, the US tent pegging, where US team, we in the Britishers were there. It was only the lance. The lance, bhala, what do you call, was the one, 4 runs morning, 4 evening. They were, and that's it. Individual team, that's all. But it is basically the South Africans. They used to have a gymkhana tent pegging, and when South Africans used to have a gymkhana tent pegging, they had all the other events, which is now has come into it. And we had a lot of meeting in 1999, 2000 with them, because too many sports were coming, and getting international recognition was a little difficult for so many medal tally. So we were initially insisting that let's keep it the lance only. But when we saw that the interest of other countries, Australians came. Australians have the Australian Tent Pegging Association. Then we had a meeting with the FEI people, Secretary General, and South African Equestrian Association. The whole day seminar with them in South Africa. I was part of it. So was one Omani rider. He is still a judge. He was there quite actively, and other people were there. Pakistan was there, so was her. And then we had our own people. There's Manoj Jalan that time, and Bala Subramaniam was there, who had quite used to write rules well. And this meeting went on, and then we accepted, let's have sword. So then lance, sword came. After sword, then we graduated up to the thing that we this lemon and peg, and I can explain the event, which can be more explained later on when they can share the video. They can go and search what run is for the lemon and peg, or you have been doing it. So this mainly came into the thing in 2004-5, and the World Cup they had in 2007, and the city East London on their eastern coast of South Africa. Everybody who came to participate in their World Cup had competed in all the events. And now, of course, in India, we recognize lance and sword, basic and other national, in the national tent pegging also, the thing have come up. And lately, because it takes too long to, so the ITPF also has curtailed down the number of runs. The timing used to be 100 meters. The timing has now reduced to 50 meters, at time at 70 meters. So to look for the horse, horses get tired. And runs are getting reduced and they are able to finish the international event in 3 days. So it's evolving more and events are taking place. People are enjoying it and it's happening that way. I will not like to touch up each how much distance and only thing the scoring can keep changing. It used to be earlier 6-4-2. It has come to then switched over to now uh, what we have now, and it keep on changing. That doesn't make a difference much. It is on the now the body ITPF who's making rules. Only a word of advice, and now with through your program and further, the ITPF has to open up. They should recognize the basic country who formed the Asian Equestrian Federation, who now also we are on the podium, and India always qualified for all the World Cup. It is originated from India. There has to be a permanent, like Asian Equestrian Federation had a vice president from India, which now has got elected or something, but that they should have a chair of from India, big country, and so many 10 peggers, so that they can contribute. Whosoever gets so many, he can contribute on the history, other thing. Why? That's a suggestion I'm talking to people also, because it program. I'm very sure when I'm speaking, because I had being speaking on ITV programs or the FEI. Right? So when it goes to them, a word of advice for them can always keep a one director post or whatever, or a advisor, or you can make their, he can be their, you can say one of the originated country advisor or something, that sort.
Yeah,
And
like
anything more you want me to say, because time is running out and we got so many other things to cover.
yes, yeah. So just quickly, the mounted archery, has it fallen off the discipline, or is it there? Are there
Okay,
talks
okay.
of?
I'll come to that. I
Mhm.
first time saw when I was in Iran, mounted archery. They were performing there, and then I'm told something is happening in Japan side. There are not too many people who are practicing this sport, and it's not become that popular. So few of the countries are doing it, and they have got the system to do it, but it hasn't been yet accepted and found favor with the 10 pegging doing countries yet. There are videos available. There are quite a bit of it. You can go on the net and find about that. Yeah, any further you want?
Yeah, I haven't seen this being practiced in India. In South Africa,
Not at all.
they do
Not at all.
practice,
Not
and
at
it's
all.
a different.
Only I remember when I was questioned in 1990 at the World Equestrian Games, and few of the people who do other discipline, they're not much of horsemanship. I
Mhm.
tell you to train your horse to run straight, this, that, explain. It's still not. Then I say ki there is a one equestrian sport where the individual skill of the human being also counts. It's not like a good horse who is jumping Grand Prix and it comes and he will win. Anybody you put on that, he will win at least somewhere.
Mhm.
The horsemanship of somebody else's, some coach, some trainer earlier done. Horse is already trained and you buy the horse and do it. But you
Mhm.
contending, you can't. The eye and hand coordination, the is so. I use the word. This is archery on a horseback. When you come with a speed so high a speed, almost 60 kilometers an hour, and you pick something from ground, your high-eyed coordination, yeah, the skill of a rider are at the most, I must say, involved is this equestrian sport, where the skill of the human being counts more than the skill of a horse, of a polo or a eventing or a show jumping or the dressage. That's my personal and a view, which I propagate.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Well noted. Yeah. Tell us something about the equipments that are used in the sport.
The main first you see on your slide that the lance, the which is a portion which we call lance. Somebody calls it in Hindi bhala. Some the war maneuver. You can very nicely predicted. They are on your screen. The two on the top is lance, and then of course the sword. And people go for winter swords and all that. That is made, and some people for the demonstration use bayonet also, one hand bayonet, mouth sword, and triple tent pegging, what we call on my. I can send you a video which was displayed with 1 lakh people in attendance in Delhi. Triple tent pegging, where
Mm-hmm.
you must have seen it, and we keep doing. You first you come and take the peg and throw your lance in the air, it twirls and all. Then take out from out the sword, and then sword is thrown. And last way, he from the hand, the reins, he take out a bayonet and take the third peg in line. So that is not a competition, but it's a very spectator-friendly event, which keep happening in every half time of polo in India.
Yeah, after a polo, and I've also seen it in a few horse shows as well, like the Delhi horse show
Yeah,
does
yeah.
it
Also,
sometimes.
also people perform this, and there's on Subhash Chandra Jayanti they did it to the public in Delhi this year. So I will send you the video. I'll send you the video.
Please, sir, I can share it with the fraternity as well.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
And then we have the ring.
Yeah, of course. The rings and they call it lemon, but generally lemons are not used and oranges are used.
Yeah, because of the size.
It's too small at that speed to the ring you see in the picture. I think the rider lady who is you take first ring, you take second ring, and then you take the peg involved there. So I find explaining verbally is not all the people who are today on here or when video goes, they can search for it and see it in detail. It's all available on our on internet. Huh?
And also, sir, with every discipline that we intend to practice, we do hold workshops. So, it's a combination. The knowledge sharing that we do is a combination of discussions like these, because we can reach more and more people. And then we arrange workshops on the ground where people can come and people can see or, practice and get trained themselves. I'll have more discussions with you around those aspects of it. But yeah, so the ring, you're saying the two rings are taken and then the same lance is used to take the peg as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Quite a skillful job out there.
Yeah, it looks very nice. Even the two oranges cut in one like this, another like this, and then the peg. It goes good. And now for the show purpose, people started putting the holy colors in a small earthen pot, and they break that and go, and it also gives a lot of fun to people.
I'm
Variants, not
sure.
a competition, but for a show.
I'm sure,
I
these
did.
things coming
I
from
tried
the
it.
army, we do
Yeah,
expect
in
these kind of.
Bangalore, when I was a general there, I introduced this during
Uh,
various shows when motorcycle display is happening or our martial arts is happening in between. We keep having a polo also. We keep having all this.
yeah. The good thing that I like in this sport is, it's very basic. It's interesting sport. It appeals to the masses, but the equipment that we use over there is like very basic. If you have a lance, go ahead with lance. If you do have a sword, that's another equipment that you have. But lance, I think, is readily available anywhere in India. For example,
I will
these
give you
pegs,
a
what are they
short.
made up of?
I will give you a short my interaction in Hyderabad, 1989 World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I found a Tangawala standing. It was the race course ground, a main
Mm-hmm.
track of the race course. And when I finished, that guy said कि सर इसमें क्या है, एक घोड़ा है, मेरा घोड़ा भी है, सारा दिन भागता है, आपका तो सिर्फ इतना सा भाग रहा है। मैंने कहा बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हो, उसको हम भगाते हैं। और ये जो आपका भाला है, ये तो जेवलिन, उसने जेवलिन मेंशन किया, वो जेवलिन थ्रो वाला जेवलिन ले लेगा हम, और हम भी पार्टिसिपेट करेगा। मैंने कहा बिल्कुल सही। out of the equestrian, I now precisely mention any sport which is a common man sport is this sport, where all kind of indigenous horses, all horses. Today you can't do show jumping or a dressage or eventing on all horses of the country and compete. This is the one sport where you can compete at levels if you train your horse just to run that 50 meters in a fast speed. The 100 meters race is always the Olympics ultimate, and so is in equestrian. This horse running that 100-meter is the. And I give you an antidote which I interacted with a man who earns 100 rupees a day. Also, say कि साहब अगली बार जब होगा साहब कितना उस टाइम fee was 50 rupees. So मैंने कहा 50 रुपए करो और आप भी अपना जेवलिन लेके आ जाओ.
That's nice. So in fact, this photos that you see on the screen, this is Rajveer. He's one of our riders, and this was his first tent pegging horse show. This is at the Delhi Horse Show, and he
great.
participated in the.
I see the ground and those trees are very familiar to me.
Yeah. And then both our riders, Giriraj and Rajveer, there were two of them, and we had taken our horses there. And they started at, I think there were about 60 odd participants in the event. And obviously, as you said, there were thoroughbreds, there were our Desi horses and everything. And, these people ended up in the first 15. So that was quite great for us. And they were so excited. I'm sorry?
I say kudos to you and the effort you are doing.
Thanks, sir. Thank you so much. But the fact of the matter is these people got so excited कि सर हम पहली बार आए और पहली बार competition में हम अपने घोड़े के साथ में आए हैं. That horse that you see over there is Rupal. She's 17 years old. Her first show that a Desi horse was participating from Gaon to Delhi, and they were over the moon. They were over the moon. So it was quite nice. Yeah. So, sir, some overview of the rules. I don't know. We are not going into the depth of it. But just perhaps, from the track length, the time that we need to cover, carry the pack, so that the audience has a good understanding, whoever wants to start, at least have a good understanding of the rules.
Basically, you need a 100-meter track, straight, flat ground. Okay? Yeah. And the arena still is 100 meters. The starting point, the line, there's a flag, a red flag and white flag. You have to pass through that. And at the 70 meters from the start point, your peg, your aim, your I must say your objective is there. Okay. When it is a sword and the lance, okay? And moment you cross after 10 meters is a line, and there is a line nowadays. At that line they have shifted to 60 meters. They are judging at 70 meters only. The timings. And South Africa, from the peg at a 40 meter, they put a line, and after the objective of the peg on the ground, 10 meters. So they time you only for the 50 meters, saving the horse. So basically, any good football ground, anywhere is nowadays qualified for a tent pegging ground. And a straight line, there's no need of marking now. Earlier, we used to put marking straight line and all. Now the peg is there, you align yourself. So it's a very, very simple sport to organize or to practice or to do. For lance and sword, they put on with a distance of 2.5 meters each. They keep on changing rules here and there, sometimes 2.5, and you come abreast, 4 of you. They go on for 3 of, earlier used to be 3 together. It's all with a very, very, I must say, dynamic sport. And other places, then they put at 45 meters, then 15-meter gap, another when it's the rings, or when the oranges or lemon and peg, or rings and peg. So they are at a distance of 15, and 20. So it's much better to not to complicate today so much for the new viewers or the starters. Yeah, it's very complicated. So we keep it simple. You need a javelin or I'm telling you, we never bought swords from the expensive swords. We just went to the normal people, the farrier, gave him some iron, and he just what you need is a point in the start. So he could make a good point in the beginning, and that sword with the length is also applicable. Is a sword which is made in 100 200 rupees. So that is on the equipment, that is on the rules. You come for 3 runs, and whosoever picks up all, no time penalties, winner. And then if they're equal, then there's a tie run. So it's very very simple sport. And
So the
today
time penalties.
I personally feel we must not complicate this much more. And I discussed we should write some book also on that, and I'm all for that.
Okay, so it's the pegs that you pick for each peg. Are there points allocated for each peg
Yeah,
that you pick?
yeah. If you pick up the peg and take it 10 meters,
Mhm.
then you get the full points.
Mhm.
You get your fire. If
Mhm.
it is dropped within 10 meters, then they give you your 3 points. And if you just happen to touch and doesn't get uprooted, you get 1 point.
Okay.
It used to be earlier 6-4-2. Now it has become a 5-3-1. So it's keep on changing, but doesn't matter. The probability remains the same.
Yeah, I think it's still an evolving sport. Hearing from what you're saying, different countries have
Now
different.
it used to be 5-3-2. Now it is 6-4-2. Present setup ITPF rule. It is a
Mhm.
6 if you carry, 4 if you drop, and 2 if you touch.
Okay.
6-4-2-0. If you don't do anything, 0.
And the time allowed, the penalty calculations?
Time they are now judging at 70 meters. So basically, it was 100 meters in 7.5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be around 48 kilometer per hour, so it comes out
Mm-hmm.
speed required. And
Mm-hmm.
then now, when you reduce less, you can use the fraction. 100 meter is 7.5. So if you have 70, then it is a 7.5 by 100 into 70.
Right. Okay. Okay. We get that. And these pegs, what are these pegs made up of? Can you
Earlier,
make it
we
from
used
with
to be,
any
it used to
equipment,
be till
any
I'm
pieces?
talking of India always use the bamboo roots, sorry, the palm tree roots. But
Mm-hmm.
now all over the world, now it is a cardboard pegs. The thickness is a 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters. The length is 30 centimeters. The peg has to be within the earth up to 13 centimeters. 17 is the objective ahead.
Mm-hmm.
At the angle of 60 degrees. So I repeat again, it is
Mm-hmm.
a cardboard made. Thickness is 2.5, 1 inch we call it. And the length from top to bottom is 30 centimeters, and it is a tapering, and it has to be put in the earth to facing the rider, 13 centimeter inside the ground and 17 outside. That's what. And now two sizes. Second one is 4 centimeter, and the same thickness is same. And so there are 2 runs on big and 1 on small. Sometimes 1 on big, 1 on small. So there are 2 types of pegs. Length is same, the same amount of ground, and that's it.
And India, where do we get these pegs from? Where do we
Uh,
procure these pegs
there
from?
are people who are manufacturing it in Meerut, in Delhi. Some clubs have started doing it. To tell you, when I was in Bangalore and I was doing my local shows, so one of my सूबेदार majors come and tell कि सर कैंटीन में कार्डबोर्ड्स पड़े हुए हैं, उनको काट के 1 इंच का बना दिया और उसके ऊपर सफेद कागज लपेट के, and they did it and it worked. But the
That's
best pegs in the world I found was at South Africa.
You're saying the worst or the best?
What I saw, because they were making it in a square cardboard of, there were no pieces or something. When I saw, now it is all available anywhere. You can order online.
Uh-huh.
I went for the World Cup of Abu Dhabi 4 years back. same best ones were used. And same thing this time, South Africa just they finished. So now they are all available. They can be, courier services and all. But in India, it is generally at Delhi, Meerut, and now all over happening. But a guy who starts and what I go back, who want to practice himself, can just take some cardboards and make it one chicken a white paper से उसको from the glue or a tape he can make his own packs and practice. That's why it's a common man's game. Show jumping
Right,
he
yeah.
requires those kind of bullies and hooks and everything. Eventing, putting that course, dressage you have to have sand and arena and markers. Here is I'm giving indigenous. You do not just see the video or go onto the internet and everything is available off the cell at your house.
Absolutely, sir.
I'm putting in a very plain, simple language. I think
No,
your time is, I'm keeping a tag of the time also.
no, sir. Be comfortable. I mean, we run through a time, but we whatever it takes, we do it.
We can
Yes,
take
we are opening
questions.
the house for any questions, any suggestions, any comments. Anyone who would like to speak, ask a question.
If you can put now people, I can see who are, how many people can come on
Guys,
the
if you can
screen.
just come on camera as well, I think it's nice for the speaker as well to see whoever is here. कैमरा आपने अपने ऑन कर लीजिए please.
I think my camera is on.
So yours was on all throughout. Rajesh, you just need to turn your camera towards you.
Can your
So
people
time to
put
ask.
how I'm seen?
Yes, sir.
Can you see me, Vimal?
Yeah, I can see you now. देख सकता हूँ मैं?
Yes,
मेरे को
Rajesh,
भी
we
थोड़ा
can see
डाल
you.
दीजिए.
Yes, Rajesh, we can see you.
Okay, cool.
So obviously one of the things is the adoption of the game. That definitely is something that we need to work on, because as you're saying, it's a very accessible sport. It's a sport that people can start on our own breed of horses, and be it with thoroughbred or whoever. And the indigenous horses are quite the mindset is there. And I think it's a sport with all Josh and all. So the people who keep these horses back in our rural areas, we do get the audience that will take up to the sport. The only thing that we are missing over here is the structure. So the structure is missing. So what happens is, like for example, our riders go for endurance. There's this thing of 40 kilometers and 60 kilometers, one endurance ride in India. The sad part is, in India, we don't even have the qualification amount of kilometers. And we are trying to see how we can tackle that. But, there's this thing of Sarkari Naukri and all those kind of things. For tent pegging, yes, the game is there. It's active. It's very interesting. But, if I have to sell it to people to take it up on mass, especially on our project, the structure of where these people go with the sport is kind of either missing or it's not been well appropriated.
Can I suggest you one thing? Can I suggest one thing?
Yeah.
In Rajasthan, especially when we have the cattle fair like Pushkar, they do have tent pegging, and where the horses are getting sold off. Wherever there is a mela, there is something happening, the nearby people can demonstrate, have a show, get in touch with the organizers, display their skill, do something and make it popular. Secondly is the schools. Wherever you are, nearby schools, you can tell them ki once a week, people who can afford, they can pay and come and learn riding first, and then they do it. These are what comes to my mind, how to make it more friendly, kind of a thing. Wherever around there are horses or 10 pegger, he can definitely do, and it can be I must say, some kind of earning also, because until there's a commercial viability, nothing happens in the world. There has to be commercial viability of maintaining a horse or other places, and he should get returned back. Spending money on a horse is a very expensive sport. So who's doing it, he can. The best place is to get any school, nominal charges. Just put people for 5 or 10 minutes, and make them feel how they like on a back of a horse, and then somebody will like and come forward. I was doing it in Bangalore, very big school, big name. They used to take their children out for a picnic, and that rider was part of my club, and he owned the school. So I told them, why don't you have your picnic here? How much you charge your? Because we charge that time also 500 rupees each child. So you keep your money with you, you give us 100 rupees, and that 100 rupee we will take him around the army campus and make him see polo ground and give a demonstration to them, and made a small circle, and one circle each to each child on a horseback, and it worked fantastically well. They used to come with their buses from all over the Bangalore into this campus and enjoy. The children, it was both ways. They were getting to see Indian Army. They used to run around. There were 2-3 polo grounds and equestrian grounds and dressage, show jumping stables. So they used to spend. The teachers also liked it because they did not have to bother much about traffic and going into some garden or something. So this is another thought comes to my mind, where you can explore. People can explore. Third, I gave you the Tangawalas. We help the animals to be better. One day, everybody keeps off. That day, they can do some sport with their horses. They can be combined. They can be any city can form a small ground, and all of them are called there. And they perform, and they can ride and show their riding skills also.
So I think you're right, but to create an interest to get people riding is one thing, but to sustain that interest and give a platform for so that people can improve on it is completely another. And what we really need, to move forward. I have seen ten pecking being picked up in South Africa like anything. It's so positive
That's a
out there.
gymkhana. That's a
People-
part of gymkhana.
Exactly, and people all over the country are picking up to the sport and they're enjoying it, and they're like competitions having every now and then. I think to give the platform for people to perform is very important. And this platform is not only once-off thing; it has to be a regular, ongoing thing, where there's one thing of playing gully cricket, there's another thing of playing provincial, and then there's third thing of playing Ranji, and then there's fourth playing for India, right? So that's the focus that we are in no way thinking in our mind that we just have to say, okay, people pick up horse riding or people pick up sport. We really want to, along with our horses, promote the sportsmen, the horse riders that we have. And no matter how far flung area from the rural area that they come from, we want to put them on the global map. We want to put our horses on the global map, and that certainly will only happen if we have regular kind of events that we can showcase, that riders can look up to कि ठीक है 6 महीने में ये आने वाला है, 7 महीने में ये आने वाला है, I'm preparing for that.
Definitely, definitely.
I think the horse shows like you, I know I would not so much bank on Pushkar, because मेलों में perform करना वो मैंने करके देख लिया है. It's more like लोग जमा हो जाते हैं, देख लेते हैं, सीटी बजा लेते हैं और आगे बढ़ जाते हैं. I think it's the horse shows like the Marwari horse shows in Jodhpur that you do, where these kind of things have to be a sponsored prize, sponsored competitions, not only a show for the spectators or your guests
We
to
are
come
doing
and
it.
look at.
I assure you, Vimal, I'm fully associated with it for last 10 years, and every year there is a tent pegging competition. There is a tent pegging competition on Marwari horses, indigenous horses, and somebody comes on another breed, we allow them to have their competition also. But we want participation, but not much of participation have come out that much. I found school children, the Mayo, the Mayuri, the JPI, and there are almost now some riding clubs have come up. So there are around 15, 20 chaps doing it.
So this year our team
Yeah.
is coming over there at your horse show doing for the dressage, and we are looking forward for a competition rather than just a display. So we are
It was
preparing
a
for that.
competition last time. I can assure you. Last year I judged show jumping, I judged dressage. I was the single judge for 10 pegging. I got the course of show jumping from 61st Cavalry Jaipur. There were 10 jumps. I put it at the level the children or they can jump. Then I had the dressage proper competition, and I allowed sort of differently the same. There were children who knew some tests, other knew other tests. Menka, I will be able to judge you. You come. So there were around 6 to 7 children who took part in a proper dressage arena was there. The whole arena was also got from Jaipur. So we are having every year the competition of dressage. There is a competition of show jumping. There is a competition of tent pegging. All three disciplines are happening.
Right. So I think, and this year we are contributing as well. Last year, there was a horse quite well known to us. Vinity interacts with the horse perhaps on a weekly basis. Mastana, it was a
Was a stallion.
Skyward or Skewball stallion
Hmm.
that was there. This year we completely plan to demonstrate our intent, not only our capabilities but also our intent through your show at the Marwari Horse Show. And it's dressage, it's show jumping, and if there is, as you said, it's competition for tent pegging, we will be participating over there as well. And I think I assure you at least participation of 7 to 8 riders from ISHEL as our project, because
Wish
those
you
are the
all the
places
best.
where we can come up and say, this is what we have achieved, this is what we are there for.
Wish you all the best. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. In a week's time, we are also coming up with our, kind of dressage flat work riding workshop, and also
Okay.
a 2-day workshop on endurance, 40 kilometers. Some of our riders will be doing it alongside.
Also, we His Highness Jodhpur. We may have a 40-kilometer endurance in November in Jodhpur.
Okay, we really hope so.
We are. I must add, Jangjit is with his team going all around and looking for a good track. Yeah, last month he was there at Timri and he's been to Sardar Samand. He is now going to Osia and the team with him. So they are trying their level best. I know of. And it was mentioned by His Highness when I met him. Let's have a 40-kilometer endurance. Track out 20 kilometer, 2 rounds in November. So let's hope for the best for that. Something is happening in Jaipur, I am told. And of course, I am available. It's very close to my heart, equestrian and tent pegging. And as we spoke earlier, we know each other. I have been part and parcel with all that for this. So we look forward and wishing you all the best. Any questions, anytime, 24/7, welcome. Thank you so much, Vimal.
So that's a big blessing for us. That's a big blessing for us. For the rest of the audience, let me tell you, I started this project not now, I'm going back to 2013, and where we had our first endurance, and Sir was the chief guest giving the prizes as well. It's a completely different story, So you remember 2 first place
I remember.
Okay. But thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for affording your time, and thank you for the audience as well. We will be on YouTube with this session, so I'm sure more and more people will have a look at it. I will be in touch with you, sir, for our next level of discussion for the people who are interested, and also appraise you of the workshops that we will be having from time to time. So if anyone else has no other questions, I think, enjoy your evening.
And thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Jai
Thank you,
Bharat.
sir. Thank you so much.
Jai Hind.